What is up? What is up? So I have a previous video where I'm talking about Rastafari and the Rasta movement. And I just wanted to make another video to elaborate on my knowledge and my experience with Rastafari and how Rastafari woke me up or made me woke. Rastafari is responsible for my spiritual awakening. Today I want to talk about a topic of interest for me, and that's Rastafari. And I want to tell the story of my spiritual awakening and how Rastafari is responsible for my awakening and ultimately leading me to find out about Christ consciousness and how Rastafari is connected with Christ consciousness. So let's go. I have a couple videos on my TikTok about Rastas and about Bob Marley as a prophet, how Bob Marley exemplifies Christ consciousness, something that I personally strive for, to be a master like Bob was. And Bob was actually the first prophet that I acknowledged. Before my spiritual awakening, I didn't believe in anything, honestly. I was an atheist. I was pretty hardcore. I used to listen to deathcore music. I was crazy. Covered with tattoos of skulls, and I used to have gauges. I thought I was going to be that person forever, and that's why I got all these tattoos. I got tatted up, and that was my identity. I lived it. I breathed it. And at that time, I was an atheist, full-on atheist. I didn't believe in any higher power. I had no faith whatsoever. Coincidentally enough, reggae music and Rastafari led to my spiritual awakening. It happened for me spontaneously, almost miraculously, because like I said, I was deep into hardcore music and the hardcore scene. I'd never listened to reggae once in my life up to that point. It almost seems like it was divinely guided for me to stumble onto this path. I was on my way to go grocery shopping and the radio turned on in my truck. I never turn on the radio. And for some reason, I just let it continue playing. Reggae music was playing on the radio. And it struck a chord within me. I listened to the entire song and I was touched by it in some weird, odd way. Didn't know how or why, but I just was. I went throughout my day, whatever, didn't think nothing of it. Just made a mental note of it. It's a Jewish reggae artist that goes by the name of Modest Yahoo. And so I downloaded his stuff. That night, I wanted to just relax and chill. I ended up smoking a spliff and went to go lay down and listen to music. So little did I know, I got into a very deep meditation. And I was just vibing with the music and listening to the lyrics. Modest Yahoo said something like, "You come into this world, into this time and place, to bring your light to this world, to shine your light. And your job is to lift the people up." He starts saying, "Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up." And in that moment, bright white light came rushing in. I saw it with my eyelids closed, and I felt this rush of white light flood my entire body, that my whole body started vibrating with ecstasy, and my body felt like it was weightless. Lifting up off the bed, I thought I was almost to my roof. I still had my eyes closed and my headphones on, and I was laying in my bed, and I did not feel my bed underneath me. In that moment, in that instant, that instantaneous moment, I felt like I was traveling through the universe. I felt like I was connected with everything and everybody. And for the first time in my life, I felt unconditional love. As an atheist, you don't believe in this stuff. I always said, if there's a God, show me proof. That night was the proof. Whatever experience happened that night was the proof. And from that moment on, I've been on this spiritual journey. Whatever that experience was, I wanted to get back to that. Whichever way I could get back to that. From that moment forward, I had this irresistible thirst for knowledge. I started devouring books, reading everything I could get my hands on. What is spiritual enlightenment? What did I experience? Different brainwave states to meditate and astral projection, psychedelics, Buddhism, meditation. Started a strict meditation practice. Anyways, the spiritual path is very long, and the journey you can take every which way. There's so much knowledge, there's so much information out there. This is an attempt to figure out what that experience was for me. What was this divine love? What was this experience that I had that is so beyond any concept, any words we have to explain what it is, to justify what it is? Hindsight, when I look back, it's always been there the entire time. No matter how complicated it got, no matter how much information I found out, it always came back to the simplicity of the truth. The Rasta culture is a part of the original 12 tribes. And it was said that there shall be a people who carry the knowledge through the ages into the modern world. And it was destined that from these 12 tribes, the lineage will be carried down into the modern age. And I believe the most purest form of the truth of Christ consciousness and is exemplified in Rastafari. Rastafari to me represents the return of Christ, the second coming of Christ, the teaching of all man, the teaching of all ages, here, today, right here, right now. And I believe Rastafari exemplifies the living truth, the simplicity of the truth and living reality of God that abides within all of us. And I personally identify with the beliefs and the ideology and the practices and the righteousness and morality of Rastafari, the strength and the courage of Rastafari. And Rastafari is a very disciplinary practice to allow God to express itself through you, to clear the vessel, to discipline the body and discipline the mind so that you can be a clear vessel for God to speak through you. And I believe that's what Bob was. I believe that's what Bob's music was. When Bob was in his element, he essentially stepped aside and allowed the Holy Spirit to speak through him. And that's something I strive to do personally in my own life with my writings and teachings. And I believe it's very powerful. That's why I'm so interested in this topic. And I'm choosing this to be my first entryway into talking about Christ consciousness, because not a lot of people know what Christ consciousness is, but a lot of people know what Rastafari is. And you can't talk about Rastafari without talking about Christ. So like I said, Rastafari comes from the original bloodline of the 12 tribes. This one being the descendants of the tribe of Judah. It was said in the Bible that he would show up during a certain time period and a time and an age through King Solomon, through King David, and then Emperor Haile Selassie I, the Emperor of Ethiopia. For the Rastas, the King of Kings, the return of Christ. Rastas see Emperor Selassie I as Christ, as their Rasta God, their black God. Is he the second coming of Christ? Is he Jesus Christ embodied? No matter what the answer to that question is, we can't deny his impact on the people. His legacy should speak for itself. Emperor Selassie has a lot of teachings and a lot of truth that is very similar to what Jesus taught and what Christ consciousness is about. And the Rasta people can find strength and faith in these teachings. One of the things about Rastafari is worshiping the body as a temple and making sure your body is clean and high vibrational so that you can be a vessel for God, so that you can be a vessel for your higher self, so that you can perform to your best ability at all times. We worship the body. We see the body as divine. And that's why I adopted a plant-based diet. That a spiritual diet is the way to keep your body healthy and pure and clean. Rastas follow a plant-based diet. They've always had. They keep it simple, close to nature, close to the truth, pure water, pure food, sunlight, vibrations, meditation. And I really started getting into Bob Marley and his mission and his purpose. And that's when I was really touched by roots reggae, that reggae music, and how the lineage is passed down and how they have this connection to Rastafari and Jah. The courage and strength of the conquering lion. You must conquer your ego, your lower self, your lower mind. You must always be vigilant for your thoughts, for your actions. You must be disciplined at all times, always making sure that you're doing what's righteous and what is pure and what is with love and forgiveness and honesty. Only thing you need to chase is your inner self, and make sure your inner self is pure and carry that with you. That's all you need in this life. You don't need money. You don't need any of that stuff. This illusion, this world that we've created that is so far removed from the truth, so far removed from simplicity, that is Babylon's system. That is indoctrination. And if you believe everything they tell you out there, it's very likely that you get lost on your path. So for me, coming back to roots, coming back to culture, coming back to truth, going against the establishment, that's how I found it. That's how I live my life. That's the Rasta mentality. It's funny because everybody knows that the king of the jungle is a lion. And for Rasta, it's the conquering lion. For me, represents the male strength. From the Rasta point of view, genders are separate and they're meant to be separate. As a strong, courageous male, as a lion in this jungle, you have to protect your family and protect your young. A male is male and a female is female. A male has certain roles to play and females have certain roles to play. That's the simplicity of the truth. God gave us genders, regardless of how you feel about it. It's all about chemistry and taking advantage of what God gifted you and embodying that. But you must also stand up and have courage and strength and honor. If you don't respect yourself, no one else is going to respect you. If you don't carry yourself with dignity, no one else is going to look at you that way. It's up to you to decide how you will carry yourself. You must carry that strength. You must embody that strength. Probably the last point I want to make is that Jesus a long time ago taught his people and taught everyone the simplicity of the truth, the simplicity of the Father that lives within everybody. But it requires a cultivation to realize and feel that within your own spirit. If you follow what the world tells you to follow, you may never touch that peace that's deep inside of you. But if you follow truth and strength and courage and knowledge, you can touch a piece of you that nobody can take from you. You carry the knowledge and the truth within you. The simplicity of the truth is within you. And when you get away from the mind and you don't complicate things and you keep it simple, you take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit, and you will know the truth of who you are in this world and what you have to offer and what your purpose and your role is. And when you embody the divine, you have no choice but to walk around with courage and dignity, because it's not about you anymore. You took a vow to carry the vibration of Christ within you. You must stand up with dignity. You must respect yourself. You must hold yourself accountable, and you must be righteous at all times. If not, you don't deserve the title, and you won't experience livity, truth, charisma. You won't embody these qualities if your vessel isn't pure enough to carry it. It's up to you to clear your vessel and allow God to embody living the truth with faith and courage that God is within me. God is speaking for me because we are all Christ. The vibration, the harmony, the brotherhood cannot be denied. That's what Rasta exemplifies for me. And that's why Rasta is the return of Christ. You'll always see a happy Rasta man, but you'll also see a very serious Rasta man, because you have to take this consciousness very serious. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's a vow. It's a very disciplinary practice. If you don't have what it takes to follow that path, it's not for you. But for me personally in my life, I've identified with, become accustomed to, and that's how I choose to live my life. In the truth and reality of Christ consciousness. The teaching is the same, no matter which means you find it. It's all the simplicity of the truth, of love. That is what a Rasta is being about.